Okay, this was the doctor's opinion from Emmanuel Haro's sibling, his sister. So I want to pull some other stuff up. It's kind of hard to tell. Did both of these parents do something to this baby? Did one of the parents do something and the other one is covering it up for the other one? I guess it's possible nobody did anything. They are supposed to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. And I'm not going to be the one dogpiling out here acting like I know for sure something happened when I don't know. Yeah, no telling what happened if the baby's been missing for, that long. So let me pull up this, and I do apologize. I like to give credit where it is due, but I was just on like a manic screenshot spree last night, and I do not remember the Twitter account that had originally put this up, and I do apologize for that. I know that's annoying when you go out of your way to get a document and then somebody don't give you credit. I do apologize. If you are in the chat or if you know who did request this and put it up, please do give them credit, and I'll pin the comment as well in comments. But I do think this is in the public interest, so I do want to share it with y'all. So you may have heard this already, you may not have heard, but this Jake Haro has a very serious past incident that has occurred with a child under his care. And it was just a few years ago, maybe 6 years ago. The child at the time, I believe, was just a few weeks old. And the child, you'll see as we're going to read verbatim from this report. The child was taken to a hospital and had all kinds of injuries. She was a baby, like not even 3 months old, like couldn't even really, like, I don't know how old you are when you can roll over, but I don't think you can roll over even at 3 months old. So let's read together what happened. Again, this is a public document. I'm not going to be adding anything extreme, but this is real, and this is what happened as a public document. So I'm going to be reading it. If you don't want to hear it, maybe come back in a few minutes when I'm done reading it. But it says, Jake said that on October 12th, 2018, after Vanessa, now Vanessa, who's Vanessa, you might be wondering, that's his ex. He has several kids, 5 or 6 kids. I've seen different things reported. So, one of his kids just got took from inside his house. It's a 2-year-old, and one of them's missing, Emmanuel, presumed to be no longer with the living. And then this is another one. So like half his kids have been, involved in these CPS disputes. There's another kid, I think, a whole separate child whose mother is trying to limit now Jake getting visitation, but I don't know if that's the same 2-year-old or a different child. I do not know, because again, there have been conflicting reports whether he has 5 kids, whether he has 6 kids. I don't know all their names, stuff like that. But this is a report from a very serious incident that happened under Jake's care. And this is a declaration in support of an arrest warrant. Jake said that October 12th, 2018, after Vanessa, his ex, but is like, I guess, his girlfriend or his wife or whatever at the time, dropped him off at home. He took the baby's temperature and saw that it was 99 to 100 degrees. Jake gave the baby Tylenol. Again, this is not Emmanuel. This is years ago. This is 2018. Emmanuel wasn't even thought of. He wasn't even born yet. He was with a different lady back then. Jake gave the baby Tylenol and decided to bathe her in the kitchen sink. While holding the baby to let the water rinse off of her, she, quote, slipped out of his hands and fell into the sink. Jake said the left side of her chest hit the center divider of the sink. Jake immediately picked the baby up and did not notice any signs of injury. Jake said Vanessa returned home about 40 minutes after she dropped Jake off. So Vanessa dropped Jake off. All of a sudden, the baby has temperature and the baby needs a bath right away. And then he drops the baby gets dropped, and then the mom shows back up. Jake told Vanessa, his girlfriend or wife or whatever at the time, that he dropped the baby on the sink. Jake said he went to bed around 21 to 2200 hours. What's like 9 or 10 o'clock or something like that. Jake was awakened by Vanessa early in the morning hours and told Jake something is wrong with the baby. Vanessa told Jake to feel the baby's back. Jake said he immediately felt something crackle and not right with the victim's back. Jake said the baby was crying, but it was not her normal cry. It was different, but he couldn't explain how. I informed Jake, this is the police, that he had previously mentioned that he felt cracking on the victim's back. And Jake said, yeah, that was very noticeable. And then the police is like, I asked Jake if he felt that crackling when he bathed or put lotion on the baby, or after she fell? And he said, no, I didn't feel that. No, no. So Jake and Vanessa are the only adults in the home and are the only caretakers of the baby. Vanessa, the other adult, told me she would not talk to me without her attorney present, and she refused to answer any questions, which is loud. That's allowed. That is allowed. Now, does it look good? Does it make you look like mom of the year that you're not trying to help cops investigate what went on with your child without your attorney there? No, it don't look good. But I've also seen kids just really just, climbing a tree and they fall and they get hurt or something. And then CPS acts like they can take your kid away and they were just doing a normal kid thing. Like that's not abuse. So I could see saying, I'm not answering shit until my lawyer gets here. I don't actually think there's anything wrong with that. Now, putting it on top of like, okay, there's a kid missing. It's urgent. There's of course, every situation is different. But just from a legal perspective, you do not have to answer questions ever to the police. You just don't. You just don't, especially if you're going to be the prime suspect of hurting this child. Now, if you know for a fact you hurt that child and you just, I don't want to talk to you till my lawyer gets here. I mean, you're probably a bad person. You're probably going to hell, but you're allowed to do that. Okay, so then this police report from 2018, it goes on. And I'm reading this to you just so you can have an idea of the background, but like there's something that happens at the end that really gives me a huge clue as to what I think could be going on with yesterday's little search party. The cop goes, again, this is from 2018. I arrived at Hemet Valley Hospital. I contacted Dr. Elliott. Dr. Elliott stated that the victim, the baby, appeared to have multiple healing rib fractures as well as acute fractures. Like healing fractures and like busted up ribs, but there's also going to be other fracture, I think. I was also informed that the baby had been transported to Loma Linda University Medical Center. I responded to Loma Linda. So he goes over there, the cop goes over there and was informed that the baby had been intubated and was in critical condition. The baby was about to die. The baby was about to unalive. After several hours and undergoing multiple tests, forensic pediatrician Dr. Daly provided me with an update on the baby. And this is the following. So look, all these bullet points. Acute fracture of the posterior left fifth rib. So like a serious fracture on the back rib, I guess on the left side and the back. Healing fractures of the posterior lateral left 6th and 7th ribs, as well as the posterior left 10th through 12th. So all these babies' ribs are just busted up. Healing fractures of the right posterolateral 6th rib. I'm reading these like medical words because I know some of y'all are nurses and doctors and stuff. Y'all actually know what this means. As well as the posterior 9th through 12th ribs. Also, a skull fracture, everybody. Do you know how hard it is to fracture a baby's skull? They're not even bones yet. I'm not kidding. Look it up. It's not even a real bone. It's not like a calcified hard bone yet. It's very hard to break a skull of an infant. It's actually very difficult. You have to have a lot of force. How many of these ooh-woo body cams have y'all seen? How many have y'all seen where it's like, oh, I just dropped the baby. And it's like, no, ma'am. The baby has 3 skull fractures and 14 broke ribs. This is not just you dropped the baby on, you tripped on a truck. That's not what happened. That's no, that's not happened. Yeah, they're like literally designed to bounce off stuff. To actually cause damage is more than an oopsie. Sometimes it is. These are the injuries that baby had. Significant. Brain hemorrhage. Brain hemorrhage. A skull fracture and a brain hemorrhage. This is like shaken baby syndrome, sounding like type of like symptoms. Significant prevertebral soft tissue swelling of the neck. So here or prevertebral soft tissue. So like, and I don't know exactly where that is, but like swelling in the neck, brain hemorrhage, broken ribs. Like, look, fracture, a huge fracture on that rib, the 6th and 7th and the 10th, 11th and 12th. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ribs broke. And then healing on the 6th, another break on that 6th. And then the 9th and the 10th and 11th and 12th. So like, I mean, all the ribs. How are they numbered? The one is at the top or is that one at the bottom? Just like medically, is it one is the ones that are up here, like this, the first rib? Because it would be real hard to break that. But those ones at the bottom are just kind of floating there. They seem like the easier ones to break. I did take anatomy one time, but I mean, girl, that was probably 15 years ago. Significant tissue swelling of the neck and a healing tibia fracture on the right leg. That's that lower leg bone, I think. You know how you have, like, the top one is called the femur, and then the tibia and the fibula or something down there. Dr. Daly informed me that the baby suffered at least 2 seizures. Seizures. This is probably from the freaking brain bleeding, and stated, wow, this is crazy, y'all. The doctor informed the detective that the baby, the 10-week-old baby, had 2 seizures, at least, and stated that the baby's condition could have been fatal if medical attention wasn't sought. These injuries would have been very painful and caused the child to have difficulty breathing and be irritable and cry. So 2 months later, December 2018, or maybe just about a month and a half later, yeah, like about 2 months later, the Children's Hospital forensic pediatrician, that same guy, Dr. Daly, or woman, I don't know, he or she, completed the suspected child abuse and neglect examination. Okay, so there's an examination for this. They did do one. In her report, so it's a she doctor. In her report, the doctor stated the following opinion. Okay, this was the doctor's opinion from Emmanuel Haro's sibling, his sister, 7 years ago. This is the doctor's opinion, quote, V1, that's the victim, the baby, quote, had findings of intracranial hemorrhage, brain injury, cervical spine injury, and retinal hemorrhages. That's like in her eyeballs, accompanied with lethargy and seizures. This is consistent with acceleration, deceleration forces, shaking. Do I have something? Okay, we'll use the dry shampoo, girl. Like when you shake it this way, the dry shampoo goes here, and when you shake it that way, it all rushes down over there. Now imagine doing that to somebody's head over and over, and it's a baby. And, hold that baby's head. Everybody ever heard hold that baby's head? It's because you could hurt the baby. You got to hold their head up because they can't even, their heads are heavy and big. They're like little baby aliens. They can't even hold their head up at first. I doubt this baby ever was able to hold up her head before getting abused. I'm not saying that's not a quote from the doctor. These are opinions. Let's get back to the quote from the doctor. Accompanied with lethargy and seizures, these are consistent with acceleration, deceleration forces of the head with traumatic stress on the neck. The skull fracture is consistent with impact to the head. Multiple rib fractures are typically caused by a squeezing mechanism of the chest. The healing oblique tibial fracture, the leg bone below the knee, leg bone, likely secondary to a traumatic twisting mechanism. That baby's leg was twisted till it broke, says the doctor. The doctor further stated, quote, the combination of the above findings in a pre-mobile infant, meaning it can't crawl around or move itself. The doctor said, quote, the combination of the above findings in a pre-mobile infant in the absence of a plausible history of significant trauma to explain the injuries is indicative of abuse, head trauma, child physical abuse, and, to make matters worse, nutritional neglect. So not only they beat this baby, abuse her, but also nutritional, like starving, malnourishment. The history of a short fall onto the kitchen sink, the doctor says, does not explain her extensive and severe head trauma, nor her multiple bilateral rib fractures. The cop said Jake told me he went home after being at the hospital. Jake's sister grabbed his iPad. Okay, so Jake said he went home after visiting the hospital. So he went to see his baby in the hospital. Jake, this is Emmanuel Haro's dad. The one that's with the cops yesterday looking for the body of Emmanuel Haro. So this is a report. This is something that happened to his sister when she was 10 weeks old. Have you ever held a 10-week-old baby? It's not even 3 months old. Like that's really little, like 20 pounds. Like some people's cats is that big. Like, so Jake, the dad, told this cop back in 2018 that he went home after being at the hospital. But Jake's sister had grabbed his iPad and opened the internet browser. Jake told me the active browser page that opened was a search of how to feed a baby with broken ribs. So he had an iPad. He's at the hospital. And his sister grabbed his iPad and opened the internet browser. And the active browser at the time was a search of how to feed a baby with broken ribs. So, Jake, look at the next sentence. Look what Jake does. Look what kind of person Jake is. Look what kind of person Jake is. Jake said Vanessa, his own baby mama, had access to the iPad. Now, I don't know if Vanessa, I may have said this earlier. I just want to be very clear. I don't know if Vanessa is the same, is the mother of this harmed child. It seems like Jake has been with a few women and had children with all of them. So I think he has children with 3 different women. I don't know whose kid is whose, okay? Whose child is whose. But Jake had on his iPad, again, how many eWoo body cams you need to watch of somebody searching, what happens to baby with skull fracture? I mean, I've seen one. I think I saw one. It was literally this morning. It was this morning. I saw one from several months ago where it was a lady, she was babysitting. I shouldn't even call her a lady. This woman babysitting. And when she was babysitting, something happened to this baby she was babysitting and had serious head trauma, 2 skull fractures. And the woman's like, oh yeah, I fell. I tripped. No, that's not what happened. Oh, well, maybe I left her alone in the room with somebody else. Like knowing full well what happened, knowing you did it, starts throwing other people under the bus. Now, I don't know if that's what happened. I wasn't there. I'm just reading this. I just found this. I saw this on Twitter today. But it says Jake told the cop he went home. His sister got his iPad and his sister probably confronted him like, dude, why were you looking up how to feed a baby with broken ribs? Jake said Vanessa, his girlfriend, had access to the iPad and has the iCloud account of Vanessa Jake Haro. So it's both of them. It's both of them, Vanessa Jake. So who's it for? A search of the iPad revealed the following Safari search, timestamped on October 13th, 2018. Okay, so when was the first incident? October 12th, the next day. So that very day they went to the hospital, and this is 2 in the morning, 1:20 in the morning. Quote, is it hard to feed an infant with fractured ribs? This was prior to the hospital visit. On November 7th, so about a month after the incident occurred where she went to the hospital, they went to the hospital, the cop said he spoke with Jake. Jake, the dad, informed him he did not use his iPad that day that search was made. Look at what kind of man Jake Mitchell Haro is. Jake informed me, meaning the cop, he doesn't take his iPad to work. I asked Jake if Vanessa caused the injuries to the baby, and Jake stated, at this point, yes. It was Vanessa. So I want to know, has Vanessa had another child in her care that this happened to? Because Jake has, or something happened to anyway. Jake also informed me he does not take the iPad to work. I asked if Vanessa could have caused these injuries, and Jake said at this point, yes. Then like months and months later, like 8 months later after the incident, this is June 2019. So this is only like 6 years ago. Jake voluntarily came in to speak with me. Look at what kind of man Jake Mitchell Haro is, everybody. Jake said, quote, so now, I mean, I'm sure they're like on the fall, they've fallen out. They're no longer trying to cover up for each other. Jake just voluntarily comes into the police station and says, if you ask me, do you see her doing this 8 months ago? I would have said, no way. Jake said, 8 months ago, I would have told you, no way. I don't see her doing this. But if you ask me now, Jake said, quote, it had to have been her. Jake was referring to his wife, Vanessa. Jake and Vanessa willfully caused or permitted the victim to suffer unjustifiable physical pain. The cop requested that some charges be filed against them both. So this gives you a little insight into Mr. Jake Mitchell. Jake is not the same as Emmanuel. Jake is Emmanuel's father. So this, what we are looking at for the people who are just joining, is a police declaration in support of an arrest warrant. Now, this is a different spelling of Mitchell. I do want to point that out. But this baby was brought in with multiple fractured ribs, some of them at different stages of healing. There was a skull fracture. There was a brain hemorrhage. There was swelling in the soft tissue of the neck. And there was a leg fracture, a 10-week-old baby who cannot crawl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 ribs are broken. And one of them was broken in 2 spots. 7 ribs. I don't even know how many you got. You got 12. Like more than half the ribs are broken. One of the legs is broken. skull fracture, brain bleeding. I think that's what a hemorrhage is. So this happened already to a child under Jake's care. He was the one who bathed that baby. And why would he say he dropped the baby and it hit its chest? It hit its chest, her chest on the sink. Down here, 8 months later after the incident, he's snitching on his wife. All right. So now take that together with what we saw yesterday. What did we see yesterday? Was nothing other than Jake out there pittering around with the cops in the mountains in the Badlands. Couldn't find nothing. But what did we hear Rebecca saying yesterday? Oh, he was kidnapped. The baby was kidnapped. I won't sleep till I get justice for the baby. Maybe she knows something. Maybe she don't. But it kind of looks to me like maybe Jake didn't confess. Maybe Jake threw Rebecca under the bus just like he threw Vanessa under the bus 6 years ago when a very similar thing happened. 1 month after the incident, Jake said he didn't use that iPad that searched, how do you feed a baby with broken ribs? Is it hard to feed an infant with a fractured rib? Jake also informed me he does not take the iPad to work. I asked Jake if Vanessa caused these injuries, and he said at this point, yes. 8 months later, Jake volunteers to come into the police station, just voluntarily. Hey, you asked me 8 months ago, I would have said, nah, I couldn't see her doing this, but you asked me today. She did it. She did it. It was her. It was definitely her. Could it be that's what he was pitter-pattering around yesterday? Doing. Vanessa had access to the iPad. It was her. It was all Vanessa. But like, it kind of looks like he's trying to escape accountability for what happened to this previous child of his, to Emmanuel Haro's sibling, to his sister. We do have the mugshots. I think we may have already looked at those, but let me just show you again. If you're just starting to follow the story, you should know exactly what these alleged monsters look like. I don't know if it's true. Maybe they're all just innocent, girl. Maybe they're innocent. But that's him right there. That's him right there. What would you call this? Like a permanent frown, like someone who's scowling all the time. Your muscles get stuck like that. There we go. Now again, this guy was out here yesterday helping search. She wasn't. You know what she was doing yesterday? Saying she won't stop till she finds her baby. It got kidnapped. Maybe he did. Said, I bet he told her to stick to the story, not realizing he's got an ace up his sleeve. It's something else, y'all. They need to ask Rebecca, where's the baby? And I don't know what's exactly, been said to the police and stuff like that. Now, Rebecca, she had some type of booking with the police back in last year, 2024. But then we also had a lot of other stuff. Let me pull up. Hello, everybody. Thanks for watching the channel. What you just saw was a clip from a longer video. If you want to watch the full video, you can do that right here, or I don't know, here. One of those spots. Also, do me a favor. Make sure you didn't get unsubscribed. Sometimes that happens. Did you like the video? Love you, Meanie. Okay, bye.